Hey, welcome to the Plug into Your Life podcast. I have a very special guest here today that offers a holistic approach to healing and wellness. And I'm very excited to talk about this. She's got certified in the Chopra practices and breath work. And I just love all of these methods, along with, I did attend a transcendental meditation before. So very excited to talk about some of these topics. And I would love to have you introduce yourself and let us know, how did you get started in this work? And by the way, our special guest is from France, which just sounds so lovely. And yeah, so welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you
Hi, Dylan. Thanks for having me with you today. So you will hear that my French accent is pretty strong. I'm sorry about that.
No, sorry. We love it. It's so nice and beautiful. Yes.
Exotic for the American people.
Yes.
Yeah. So just as you said, I'm total well-being coach, and I'm an instructor and a meditation instructor, and I was certified with Chopra. So I facilitate growth and transition especially for women. When they are in the transition in their life, whether it's pregnancy, divorce, career, I'm there for them, support them.
Yeah, there's a big need for that. And how did you even come across this type of work? And what was your life like before you got introduced to spiritual tools? Or have you always been into meditation?
I've always been into yoga and meditation, I'm afraid.
Nice. Since a child?
Yes, because when I was 7, I met a yoga teacher, and he became very quickly a very good friend of the family. And I would spend weekends talking with him about yoga and breath work and, Asian philosophy and all that. So I was immersed into that pretty young. But then,
Wow.
life happened, of course, teenager and all that. So I kind of get away from that. But life always has a way to take you back to where you are supposed to go. And at 19, I had an OBE. And
OBE, which I just want to let everyone know that's it.
Yeah,
out of body experience.
Out of body experience during the healing, and this experience really brought me back directly to spiritual path. And
now, before you keep going on that,
yes.
I too have had an out of body experience, and I think people are pretty interested in that topic. So I just want to ask, was there something happening to have that happen, or was it just a random event that kind of changed your perception on life?
It was kind of random, because actually at the time I had these horrible migraines, and I was only 19. And so my mother was very concerned about that. And we were looking everywhere, how can we do something for you? And we found this, through my cousin, we found this healer who worked with crystals. And so as soon as I lay down on the table and she put the crystal on my chakras, I flew. I was out of my body right away. Yeah.
Wow. I've been doing practices to allow myself to do that. And I keep hearing, and they happen to be mostly girls or women, but that easily do it. And I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah, but the thing is, the healer was very panicked when she saw that. When she felt that I was going away, and I was feeling so good,
Now,
and I could hear her panicking and calling out to her assistant to come back. She's going away. She's going away. And I was, in bliss, this blissful moment, the most blissful moment of my life, that she kind of imprinted in me this fear, this panic. And so it took me years to try to do that again. And because afterwards I shut myself to that, because I was feeling so many things around me, so much vibes. I said, I shut myself, but it reconnected me to this spiritual path. So that's what we were talking about. But I will end with just saying that I just reconnected to that OBE practice very recently, actually 3 weeks ago. And thanks to Mind Valley program with Jay Shaw on astral projection. And I'm totally at peace now with OBE. I had another one, a very short one, very recently. So that's okay. That was the OBE subject. And now
just to let you know, I
yeah.
dove into a book called Adventures Beyond the Body from William Buhlman.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically says, like, if you practice these things within 30 days, you'll be out of your body. And he describes it when you start to leave, that you hear like a popping sound. Did you hear that when you left?
It was more like a whistling sound, but there are many things that you can feel. So everyone's experience is very different, you know. But I just want to share that because I think people may have random hobbies just like that, just, you know, taking a nap and suddenly it's happening. So just want to say, don't be afraid to share and look for teachers. And because it's, you know, it's a superpower in the yogic world for the yogis to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So it's a great practice. Actually, it's a practice, and I think it's as powerful as meditation can be. So yeah, and if you're already a meditator, it's going to be maybe easier for you to do that. So yeah, I highly encourage that.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested,
find a teacher.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yes, right. If I did it, you can.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So you had that experience, and then okay.
And then I've been a translator actually for 30 years, from English into French for TV, but always keeping this spiritual journey alongside. And when I turned 3 years ago, I realized that I wanted to, after 20 years of practice of meditation, because I learned in 2001, I realized I wanted to be aligned with my spiritual journey and with my with my career. So I decided to share the joy of the practice of meditation and become an instructor. And then once I was in the Chopra family, I couldn't leave, so I stayed and did the Chopra Health program and the coaching program, and now I'm in this transition myself.
I think a lot of people are familiar with Deepak Chopra, mm-hmm. but some people aren't. Would you mind kind of going over that experience and maybe more information about the Chopra exercises and how you learn that?
Yeah. So the Chopra, as we learn it at the meditation, as we learn it at Chopra, is a meditation with a mantra. And this mantra is called your primordial sound. And this mantra is connected to the day and place and of your birth. And so it's unique sound, and you use it during meditation. You repeat it during meditation. So it's not a silent meditation or a practice of mindfulness. Is really like a transcendental meditation with using of your mantra to keep your focus on this mantra, to be able to dive deeper. Having this lighthouse in the storm of your thoughts, the mantra will keep you safe normally.
So we recently had someone on that was sharing about mantras. What is it, like a chanting, or is it like a...
It's a sound, just one sound.
Just a sound. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then you do that along with like a meditation.
Yes. During your meditation, you just repeat your mantra silently. And actually, as any sound, you know, it's a vibration. It's more a vibration than, if you see what I mean. So it's like, you can associate that to the Native American chant, for example. This repetition of a vibration is more a vibration than a word. So this mantra has no meaning. It's really pure sound.
Okay. And so for anyone I just want to make sure I kind of break down, like, so vibration, if somebody doesn't know what that is, all sound and frequency and all matter, essentially everything, molecules, atoms, cells, they're all have a vibration. It's like when you have water, it's vibrating at a certain frequency. When it slows down, it turns into ice. When it speeds up the vibration, it turns into gas. So each sound carries a vibration. So, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So you have your own sound. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and we provide 4 sessions for a student who wants to have his or her mantra. And the day you receive your mantra is a very special day. It's really a ceremony, and we, as an instructor, you chant in Sanskrit before giving the mantra. So it's pretty moving, actually. It's a big event in the life of meditator to receive your mantra. That's why I really want to share this passion about mantra meditation, and especially doing this with a teacher, because I know now there are many apps about meditation, and that's great because, you know, people, it's great, it's the starter for people to meditate. But most of the time there is music, and actually music can be a disturbance if you really want to go to dive deeper. And so look for a teacher. There are many, many instructors now. And so it's very nice to share that with a human and not your smartphone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you go through a whole ceremony then. Now, can somebody receive their mantra without the ceremony or without a teacher, or is that something that is needed?
No.
Yeah.
It's really a process. And we have this session before the ceremony so that the people understand what's going to happen and how we will meditate. And then we see the people after. So after they have practiced with their mantra, and if they have any questions, we're here for them. It's like a coaching, meditation coaching. We really want to help people begin their practice, but the most important, we want the people to keep up with the practice, implement the practice, because we know that in meditation, it's a repetition that works. It's a practice. It's just like when you learn playing tennis or football. It's not, you have to do it every day, twice a day, and at least 21 days to implement it, and then you keep it for life.
Wow.
If it resonates with you. Yeah. Hence the importance of the teacher. Yeah.
All right. So, So we got, that's the Chopra meditation practices. And then you've become certified to facilitate that practice.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what would you say the difference between your meditation before that and then after that? Is it a lot different?
Well, I can see that people, like I said, when I was telling about the lighthouse thing, I really think that the mantra will help people drift. When you meditate, the big things, the bigger things people think is, if I have thoughts, I don't know how to meditate. But actually, we all know now that when you meditate, you have thoughts. That's perfectly normal. So there is no wrong meditation. But when you begin, so that you less focus on these thoughts that coming to you, having a mantra helps you to kind of focus, but defocusing at the same time. I don't know if you follow me. It's like your thoughts, your meditation are a huge storm, but you have this lighthouse that just, is here for you, this mantra that helps you not drift too much into your thoughts, just coming back and to your inner peace, to your deeper self.
I really like that. So when I first started meditating, I would be angry at myself because I kept thinking so much, like I wasn't like angry, but it was more like a frustration,
Yeah.
Like, okay, I believe that meditation is supposed to be no thinking,
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's the big mistake of many people, and they quit. That you try 5 days and said, I'm no, it's not for me. I have too many thoughts, but it's normal. It's normal.
Yeah. And then after like years of this, trying to force myself to not be thinking, I usually end up sleeping or just giving up or not doing it. But after a while, I started to just accept the thoughts, and then they would just kind of like pass through,
Yes.
and I would be like, okay, and then just go back to the present moment. And then after a while, it got easier and easier to kind of be in that present moment space where there wasn't any thinking. But if a thought comes in, I don't judge it or try to not like it.
Yeah, thoughts is like a cloud that just passed.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just, I think with your practice, what you just said, and I think is exactly what's happening, is you become this witness of your thoughts.
Mhm.
With the practice of meditation, you're really witnessing, and so you're more detached, and during your meditation, but also in your life outside meditation, because we should not forget that we meditate not for the experience of during meditation, which could be pretty cool sometimes, but sometimes could be exhausting.
Yeah.
But we meditate for the effects and the benefits in our life. And I think it's important to say that, because people may think, yeah, just like you said, too many thoughts, I can't concentrate, I feel falling asleep. But if you did meditate, it will have benefits in your life.
And what would you
So,
say some of the top 3 benefits would be of meditation in someone's life?
well, just as I mentioned, this witnessing of your emotion reactions, you're less in a reacting mode, you're most observing, and then, saying what you have to say, but less angry. I think it really helps on sleep and chronic pain, and basically you're more happy and younger.
Basically everything. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed all those things when I started meditating. It probably wasn't like at first, but definitely like within a few days, I started to feel more relaxed in my day.
Mhm. Yes.
And I think you brought up a good point too. Like I used to believe that meditation was just the meditation, and that's the only thing that I'm doing is that little time period where I'm meditating. But what you're bringing up is, and what I've learned over the years is meditation isn't about the meditation. It's a whole lifestyle.
Yes.
Now I meditate when I'm at the grocery store. I meditate when I'm walking on the beach. I do walking
Yes.
meditations. I meditation has become more of a mindfulness, an awareness of my life.
Yes.
Yeah. Very
That's why
cool.
the mindfulness movement is now is huge.
Yeah.
And all this moment that you're in your awake, where you meditate while you're walking and your grocery store and all that, that's just great, because you just switch into that mode of, okay, I'm aware, and so I'm present, and that's meditation. And if you add your silent meditation with your mantra or focusing on your breath, that's really the deep work at that moment. But if you do that, eventually in your life, you're more aware and more conscious and more mindful and all that great stuff.
I like to describe it as like, I was in a ceremony one time, and I felt the spirit had all these questions, and they said, well, I felt this kind of like this image of like me in the painting, but then they were like, you can't see the painting if you're in the painting. So you have to like pull your awareness out to see the whole picture. But that means that you have to detach from the things that are surrounding you. And like, and the best way to do that, I feel, is through a meditation practice.
Yes.
Yeah. Very powerful stuff. I mean, I've seen people heal things,
Yes.
heal other people.
Mhm.
Really, really powerful
Yeah.
meditation. Yeah.
And also
Okay.
there is an immediate benefit, just your heart rate. If you use, I treat myself with this, and I enjoy it, because when I meditate, I just check my heart rate during my meditation, and so it's an immediate benefit. You're just
Yeah. Now there's so much. It used to be just something like a hippie or woo woo, but actually now there's so much science behind it.
Absolutely.
You're
Yes.
physically altering your entire system, through
Yeah.
and it's so crazy. It's just a little bit of time,
Yes.
considering
Very
your
fast.
in your life for 24 hours, and you spend what, an hour or maybe, meditating. Really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then,
Rejuvenates.
yeah. And
Sorry.
then you you're also certified with breath work.
Yes.
And that happened to be one of my most profound experiences to date, was a
Mm.
breathwork exercise. So I'm excited to hear, like, how does one get certified for that, and what type of breathwork? Because I know there's a bunch of different styles,
Yeah.
right?
So with my courses with Chopra, of course, we did lots of breathwork, pranayama. But I found Lucas Rockwood. He created a yoga body, yoga college teacher, and he has this very short but simple and efficient course to learn how to be a breath coach. And so we use very simple breath work so that people can implement it and keep it. Just like I like the idea, of giving people very simple tools, but they can use and be very efficient and see the benefits very quickly in their life. So that's the way I work with breathwork. Very simple, and not, very crazy, elaborated pranayama stuff. Just basic, but people can use it, and it's very efficient.
Yeah. Now, one of the breathworks that I did, and I've guided people through this. I don't know if I should have, because I'm not certified, but I know that in the experience that I had these headphones on, and the gentleman would breathe in 2 breaths with his nose and then slow breath out. But he would pause in between, like on the breath up, he would pause and then go up again and then pause. And that pausing would like force you to be present with the breath. But it became so difficult at like maybe 5 minutes in. And then all of a sudden my body's like, oh, stop, my nose burns. Like, you don't need to keep going, and I feel like the body wants to self-regulate your breath, and it, what I learned was like you're pulling in oxygen, your mitochondria, or your body turns it into energy for your cells. And so it will like self-regulate. But when you force it to keep going, you have to become so conscious of your thinking in your body. I was told that it's like that moment where you realize that you're not your thinking and you're not your body, because you're becoming aware that your body wants to stop. And so once I kept going past that mark, it was like right around 10 minutes, all of a sudden, this like flood of energy is hitting my body. I'm like, all of a sudden, all these emotions are coming up. I started like crying. Like,
That's hardcore stuff you did. I don't teach that. You'll have
really?
to learn to teach me.
Well, it was just intense because I just learned, like, that was just one technique, but I learned that like even stress, right? Just pausing and just taking a couple of seconds to breathe is powerful.
Yes,
I think people really
very.
underestimate the power of your breath, or just being present in your life of meditation.
And just basic one thing that it's just remember that you breathe through your nose only. Inhale and exhale.
There was a book about that too. Someone said that like some of the Western culture, they started breathing through their mouths, and that's part of the reason why there's so many like.
I'm reading that book right now.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah, it's called Breath.
Yeah.
And the author, I don't know. When you read on Kindle, you forget the author. That's that's a pity. But yeah, I'm reading it right now. And I love this guy. All this creamy experience that he did. I don't know. Maybe it was 10 days with the tape on his mouth and then on his nose to see difference between the breathing in through your nose only or your mouth only. It is.
What was the outcome of that? I don't remember reading that.
I haven't finished it, but basically.
I'm curious, like tape over my mouth.
No, but the thing is basically, Lucas Rockwood, the one I learned from, basically he said, mouth is for eating and nose is for breathing. And it's true that just think about that. Just think about just breathing, inhale and exhaling through your nose, nothing else. You will feel really change very quickly. in your day.
Yeah. And it like energizes you, and yeah, so many benefits of that. Did you also hear about how like in different times of the day,
Yes.
everyone will switch which side of the nose the air goes into? Isn't that
Yeah, actually, I think it's
crazy?
like every 30 minutes. So it
Wow.
changes a lot during the day. And so when we have students, we tell them to just to check during the day, and you just, you know, your finger under your nose, and you see now I'm on the sympathetic mode because we're talking and all that.
I'm over here. Wait. Oh, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same as
Also,
you.
right? Yeah, yeah. We're in sync, so that's fine.
That's so funny, isn't it? So
Yeah.
intense how, we really are all connected. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what other, have you had any other spiritual experiences through this type of work? What can people expect when they start down this journey? I mean, especially if they're just starting out. I know you've been doing it for a while.
Well, I think that basically if people come to meditation or well-being coaching, is because they are in a time of stress. I think 90% of the time that's, it comes down to stress. And people now are more aware of their stress than they were before. And some people, yeah, it's because they are a disease or something that they need to look inside of them and look for tools to help them. And as far as for coaching, I think that it's really when you're in transition in your life, you need support. And even if you have your family and friends, but having a professional with you once a week, talking about with you, help giving you a space. Yeah, in transition, it's very useful. And I'm very happy to do that too, because I've been there. I've been there, I divorced, I remarried, I changed my career, I have, life. So I'm happy to provide this space for people because I was pretty lonely in my journey, even if I found incredible healers and therapists. And now I'm happy to give back.
Yeah. And with coaching, I learned a few years ago, I had a business for a long time. It was successful, but I was working like 70 hours a week, hustling, working so many hours. And I got kind of stuck. And this kind of relates to people being stuck in stress or stuck in life. And I just started asking different questions. I came across this coach that specialized in the business I was in. And I was really leery, it was a lot of money. And sure enough, me and my ex hired him. And wouldn't you know it, not only did I get through all of my challenges, but I ended up like only working 5 hours a week, making more money than I ever made in my life. And
Yeah.
at that moment, I realized how powerful a coach is, because it
Yes.
wasn't that I needed him to like tell me what to do. It was more or less, he was saving me time, like for me and my meditation and my breath and my healing practices, my energy work and stuff. It took me 8 years to develop that because I was doing it on my own pretty much, but just like the business, had I had hired a coach in the beginning of the business, I could have saved myself, I was in business for 10 years. I could have saved myself years. And I think a coach is one of the most valuable things on the planet because you're almost guaranteed to get the result, because
Yes.
it's forcing you to have attention and intention
Yes.
with a second person that's holding you accountable to keep going. And it's kind of like a motivation, and then everything's free on YouTube, right? But when you pay attention. And I feel like that interaction of energy forced me to want to show up to the meetings. I was, okay, I paid him, so I'm going to listen to him, so there's a huge benefit to coaching,
Yes. Yeah. And coaching is not therapy. And people should know that we're just facilitators. We are in the we're not in the driver's seat. The client is in the driver's seat. We are just, uh, on the other side. And
Yeah.
with the map, okay, we have the map, but they are driving.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you say to any young people listening right now that are interested in this type of work or meditation or
Yeah.
any type of spiritual tools?
I would highly encourage them to meditate, to find a teacher, because I think young people now, they're really their generation, that we need them to be aware, and we need them to be mindful and conscious, and for them to be like this, they need to get away from Netflix binging and smartphones. They really need to go in, to dive into their inner self. And so highly encouraged to practice, highly encouraged to really listen to their inner voice. And with practice of meditation, of course, it will be more and more present.
Yeah.
And just remember that meditation is like practicing sports. So practice sports, practice meditation with discipline, what we can call bliss discipline, I think.
Bliss.
And it's nice, yeah, discipline.
Discipline.
I did not invent it. I use it because I like it.
Yeah, I like
really,
it.
yeah, I think young people just get up early and do your meditation, read a book, and practice sport before doing anything else in your day. And you will have everything you desire. You will listen to your intuition, do great things for this world. And this world really need great young men and women.
Yeah. And I think you're right with that. And I don't know. I think with meditation, it can be a little frustrating at first, but I think if people realize like you're stopping a habit of overly thinking that's probably been cultivated over at least 10 to conservatively, 20 some 50 years even.
Yeah.
And it's just like riding a bike or driving a car. At first
Yes.
you're so aware and you're stressed out and you're sweating and you just can't figure it out. It's frustrating. You want to quit, right?
Yeah.
But if you just keep at it, eventually it just becomes an automatic system.
Just like when you go to the gym, you have to go. It's just a practice, really. It's a practice. And it's not woo-woo. It's not, how can I say that? It's not religious.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be religious. You can do your religious practice if you want. If you don't have any, that's fine. Meditation is not religion. That's very important to say that. And also, I'm telling you this because I have two sons, and my youngest recently began to meditate, and I was so happy. But I told him, you don't have to sit, like a yogi to start meditation. You just sit comfortably. That's the key. And if something is itching during your meditation, just you can scratch whatever and just resume your meditation. It's not strict, don't move yogi style. No, you can just sit on a chair, having your feet on the ground, and close your eyes.
I love that. So I'm very curious. What caused your son to start meditating?
Well, actually, right now he's in the US, and he's been away since August. And suddenly he had this mystical experience and met new people, and these people were meditating. He said, well, maybe I should do it.
Oh, really? But his mom was doing it all the time, and now he sees people doing it.
Yeah, but he had to do his own way. So of course now I'm very happy about that.
Yeah,
but young people meditating, that's the future of humankind. They need to do that. We should teach that at school.
Yeah, my sister's school, they started teaching, she's a teacher, and they started teaching like a mindfulness.
Yes.
They do like 10 minutes and everyone just goes silent. Yeah, very powerful stuff. And the Dalai Lama said, if we teach every 8-year-old meditation, we'd solve all world hate in one generation.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, very powerful stuff. All right, so how can people if somebody is starting down this journey, maybe
Mhm.
they're having some difficulty, they've got a lot of stress or a lot of stuff going on, and they're thinking they might need or could use some guidance or some type of coach. How do people get in touch with you, and what would you say the next step would be for them?
They just have to reach out to me or just check my website or my Instagram first, and we'll see if we're a good match. I always offer a first 30-minute session, so whether it's meditation or coaching. So feel free to reach out to me. And so my Instagram is, will you write it somewhere? Because with my French.
Yeah, I'm going to put all the links down below.
Okay, Virginie.Linder and www.virginielinder.com for the website.
Yeah, Virginie
Linder.
Linder. Yeah.
Well, you can say Virginia.
I can't do the French accent. No, I love, love it. And we will have all the links down below. Really love all this stuff. And I think meditation and breath work are probably two of the most impactful things that have happened in my life, actually. After my near-death experience, which was really big.
Which I want to hear all about, of course, now.
Yeah, it was just really powerful. I left my body. I was taken to this place called the School of In-Between Lives. And, I saw my life. I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, they see everything we're doing. Like that was my only thought. I remember like, yeah, it was funny. And when I came out of that experience, I was still interacting with spirit that was in the room.
Yeah.
And I remember realizing, okay, they're always here with us. And if I need something or want something, I can just ask them. And so I asked, what is the fastest way to get back to that state? Because it was like you described, it was so like, it was just like, the love most familiar. Yeah. Bliss. What did you say?
Discipline.
Yeah. It was such a bliss, and, so anyways, when I was asking that question, I just trust that the answer is going to come to me. And sure enough, a meditation guru popped in my life, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you know his work.
Yes, of course.
And I started diving into meditation, and boy, I was just so blown away by it. Like it seems like there's like a layer here, which may start with like an app or something, and then there's like guidance, like with a teacher or like a coach. And then there's like new layers after that. It's like you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And it seems like everything in my life, I would go to the extreme, but I would hit a bottom or a ceiling, But with meditation or spiritual practices, it seems like it's just a never ending unfolding of deeper and deeper layers. Like it just gets more and more interesting, more and more magical,
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, love it. Yeah, I could just go on for hours about all this stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening and you're interested in any of these topics, definitely check out Virginie Linder's website or Instagram. I will have the links down below, and definitely get a free 30-minute session with her so you can dive a little bit deeper in questions or how it works. And besides that, I'd love to go into the lightning round. You ready? So what is your favorite book, tool, software, or some video or something that has been such an impact in your life that somebody could check out today?
Well, that's a very difficult question because I love books. So
what was one of the first ones that impacted you?
Well, the first one that impacted me is called Talking with Angels.
Oh.
And it's not written by, she said she's a scribe of the book. It's Gita Malaz. And I discovered this book when I was 16. I told you I was young when I began all that journey. So this one was the first really book that really was a huge impact on me. And I will mention also one of the last book I enjoy, thanks to my eldest son, and who introduced me to the work of Robin Sharma and the 5
Robin
a.m.
Sharma?
Club. Yes, Robin Sharma, the 5 a.m. Club.
Ah, the 5 a.m. Club. I did
Yes.
see that book title, I think.
Is the, you know, the young people listening to us right now, just read the 5 a.m. Club.
Okay. Now you said, I got to ask this real quick. So you started
Yeah.
back when you were like 16 or earlier. How did that affect like your school life or your friends? Like, did you have any impact on them? Did you have friends that kind of did it with you?
Yeah, well, meditation I practiced really seriously 20 years ago only.
Okay.
But when I was 16, I was so much into this spiritual uh, growth and journey and questions and all that. So yes, I have pretty close friends who were sharing these same questions with me. And but it's true that among my friends that I still have actually, I was kind of the shrink of the group. Already my coaching, tendency were there, and it's true that throughout my career, even that was translator, people would come to me and call me if they have something if they need support or to share something, big change in their life. So it seemed that it was that thread all my life long.
Really cool. Yeah. And like, I'm such a big believer in young people learning this stuff. And it's funny that you seem to always have that tendency to want to like coach and be like a guide. Yeah. And I also found too with coaching, like it kind of, it's sometimes it's easier. And I used to like judge myself for wanting to point out things to people that, I could help them with. And then I learned that, I need to ask them first if they want to know what I have to say.
Yeah.
But once I figured that out, it was like, I found that instead of like judging myself for wanting to tell them what to do, it kind of, when somebody was enjoying that process, I learned that by me teaching something, it made me better at it.
Yeah.
It was like this, it was like this cool interaction where somebody would say, "Oh, thank you," and I'm like, "Well, actually, thank you. I needed to hear that too."
Yeah. Yes. When we teach something, that's where we really get a grasp of the thing we are teaching.
Yeah.
Not before really.
It's very powerful for both people involved,
Yeah. And coaching too. I mean, each coaching session is a teaching, both for, well, mainly for the coach, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, yeah.
But that whole process is so powerful, and I recommend anybody to that's having challenges in your life, or you're just looking for some other answer, and you've made it to the end of this show. Definitely check out the websites and links below. And Virginie, I just want to thank you for being on here.
You're welcome.
And it's been very fun. Yeah, and hopefully maybe we can have you back on sometime, dive a little deeper into some other topics.
Yeah, of course.
And we can talk about a near-death experience or something.
And, why not? Or lucid dreaming. Also, lucid dreaming is great.
Now, wait a minute. Okay. So
that's
there is a difference.
Topic.
Yeah, there is a difference between lucid dreaming and out of body, I learned.
Yes.
But
lucid dreaming, well, another time.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining the show. Thank you, Virginie. And I just want to say shout out to France and that whole area. And we just want to say our prayers for Ukraine and Russia and all the people impacted by that. And everyone just have the intention of world peace and love. And thanks again. Plug into your life, guys, and have a good day.
Bye-bye.